Meanwhile, we saw Copa America kick off, didn't we, last night? Argentina in action against Canada. A thoroughly entertaining match, this. Alvarez would open the scoring 4 minutes into the second half. Then a nice assist from Messi would find Martinez to guarantee an opening victory for Argentina. There in attendance for us was Alex Kirkland. Alejandro Moreno, who you may have seen before, joins us now as well from our LA studio. Ali, this was a fun game. Maybe not fun if you're an Argentina fan.
More stressful than it needed to be for Argentina, and I think you got to give credit to Canada in the approach that they had in the game. I think most teams opening a tournament of this magnitude against Argentina, the World Cup champions, they would just sit back and absorb pressure and maybe go on the counter, maybe create a set piece, and perhaps you run into a goal that way. And Canada with Deschamps, what they decided to do is very much like Saudi Arabia in the World Cup. We're going to play a high line, and we're going to try to test Argentina and really force Argentina to say, let's play the ball over the top. Let's see if indeed you're fast enough or good enough to run in behind. And why is Canada able to do that? Well, because they have in Alphonso Davies, a guy who, with speed, can recover into that space. And so the gamble of Canada was, we're going to press higher up the field, we're going to have a high line, we're going to make the field shorter, and hopefully Argentina don't get in behind. Well, Argentina did get in behind. Many times, and there were chances for Angel Di Maria, there were chances for Lionel Messi, chances for Julian Alvarez, and somehow they couldn't quite get it right. Because they couldn't get it right in those 1v1 situations and counter-attacking opportunities or exploiting that space in behind, then the game became a whole lot more stressful, and it forced Argentina to defend. And what we saw is that Argentina, when forced to defend, they had issues. And I mean real issues. Emi Martinez had to come up with save. There was a header by Eustaquio inside the 6-yard box from my counter range in the first half, towards the end of the first half. That should have been a goal for Canada. It was not. Canada did not take advantage of the opportunities that they had in front of them. And in the end, the quality of Argentina and the quality of Lionel Messi took over. Because even though he struggled in front of goal, he still had so many little touches that broke the play open for Argentina in the attack. And eventually, he provides the passes in behind that create the goals for Argentina. Argentina win it 2-0, and even though it was stressful, I think you take the points, and if you're Argentina, you build from this.
Alex, what was audible watching it on TV, and I'm sure you found it the same in the stadium, every time he got the ball, every time Lionel Messi was anywhere near the ball, you could just hear the expectations rise.
It was the case even before kickoff. The first big cheer of the night was about an hour and a half before kickoff. Huge cheer went up. Nothing was happening on the pitch. And it was because Messi had just walked into the stadium, was being shown on the big screen. And that went on right the way through the night. That happened when he walked out for the warm-up, when he started shooting in shooting practice in the warm-up. And then, like you say, every time he got the ball, it was all about Messi, even on a night which in many ways was kind of an average Messi game, because as Ali says, you know, he missed at least 2 one-on-ones in the second half that he really should have scored and didn't. He still created, I think, 5 big chances in the game. He still played the key role in the 2 goals, 1 assist and 1 kind of pre-assist for the first goal. So it was absolutely spectacular from Messi, even while being quite ordinary by Messi standards at the same time. We know this Argentina team isn't all about Messi anymore, and part of their success in the last few years has been sort of building a proper team around Messi. So it isn't just relying entirely on Messi, but it's still the Messi show to a large extent, yeah.
What was interesting, though, were the comments after the game from a lot of different players, Ali, was the fact that nobody seemed to be happy with the pitch. Am I right in thinking that grass was planted over the turf just 2 days ago?
Yeah, well, and that has been the case when playing international tournaments here in the United States in these big football stadiums in which they usually have artificial grass. And when you have artificial grass and now you have to sort of lay the sod over that, it just doesn't quite have the same feeling. And one of the concerns when I had to go through this as a player is the seams of laying the turf and how those seams sometimes are noticeable, and they were noticeable yesterday. And the bounce of the ball is not quite the same. The ball doesn't quite carry the same weight on the grass. Even though it's natural grass, it plays differently. And so, yeah, I can see why players would be complaining about this. And I can also tell you that while every time that Lionel Messi touched the ball, the stadium was going crazy, there were moments in this game in which there were lulls inside the stadium. And those lulls sort of had to do with the fact that a lot of the people that are attending these games, they're there for one reason and one reason only, and that is Lionel Messi and the Lionel Messi effect, and we are seeing it in Major League Soccer as well. And it's sort of like if Lionel Messi is not participating in the play, all of a sudden this doesn't quite have the feel of the international competition that it should, even though the stadium is packed. But these lulls are, I think, dependent upon whether Messi's touching the ball or not. If he's touching it, the stadium is going crazy. If he's not touching it, then people are like, well, let's go get some popcorn and nachos.
Alex, just returning to the pitch, did you see problems there?
Well, it's funny, one of those things where we were sitting up in the press box, which is quite high up in the huge arena that is the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It wasn't as obvious as obviously it was for the players' pitch side. What you can see, obviously, is that it affects kind of the rhythm of the passing. And if you're a team like Argentina that wants to dominate possession and wants to keep the ball moving at a certain speed, that's problematic. And the players, certainly, they were all unhappy. Scaloni talked about it. Dibu Martinez talked about it. A number of Argentina players talked about it. But where we were in the press box, it wasn't as obvious as it seemed to be to them, as we heard from them in the press conference and the mix zone after the game. No.
Well, Copa America, of course, continues. Ali, enjoy your time on the West Coast, hanging out with Seb and Shaka. What could possibly go wrong? Just a reminder, this is how things stand after the opening game. Argentina, of course, top with that win. Tonight sees Peru take on Chile, and live at the full-time whistle of that game, it is Football Americas that will be with you every day, of course, following every match in Copa America.